Thank you, Jim. Welcome back. You know, there are a bunch of us, but would it be okay if we just stopped and took a couple questions? Would that be okay?
Yeah, let's do that.
Got some questions? Anybody got questions? Yeah.
The role playing you did a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And you were validating.
Do we have a microphone that we? Do we have a?
Take that.
Here, take this. It's coming. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, so the role playing you did a few minutes ago, you know, the first one was invalidating and the second one was validating.
About with the sister.
With a sister.
Yeah.
What is the difference if you were to, it's still validating if you were to jump in on her bandwagon and go, you're right, your sister, she's
Oh,
such
come
a
on up
meanie.
here. Come on up here. Let's try it. Teach her to ask a question. Now, just out of fairness, you should know you're one of our Family Connections leaders, and I don't know if you're on the role play list or not, but you are now.
I am now. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So I want you to notice what happens
Okay.
when I jump in on the bandwagon.
Okay.
And follow your own emotion. So you're starting upset, and I'm going to jump in. Okay? So
Okay. Should I sit? Stand? I'm going to stand because that's how.
whatever you
probably
want.
be. Oh my God, she canceled me again. I am so tired. I call her all the time.
I
I'm like,
can't
she's
believe
such a,
it.
I know, right? She just.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Why-
and
why
she
do you-
carries that phone with her all the time. I know she knows when I'm calling her.
Why do you even try? Why do you
What?
even try?
I don't know because I'm
She's
the big sister.
completely
Everybody tells-
self-centered.
I
She's
know.
completely self-centered.
Well, I know, but no, my mom's like, you're the oldest one. You're supposed to take care of her.
Screw
You're
that.
so right. But I know, but my mom is like, you're the big sister, and then my little brother's like, you're the big sister. You're supposed to be the role model. Like, I'm like, I just want to say,
You know,
F
she
off.
is exactly. She's the most self-centered person I've ever known. You
Well,
put
you know
all
what? You
this
don't
stuff-
know what she's going through either. I mean, you can't. Why are you saying that? But
I was counting backwards from 10. I got to 2. Okay, so what happened? What happened? I'm jumping in.
Yeah.
Pardon my language. We call this intimacy through bitching. Okay. And it's a false kind of intimacy. For a while, you feel supported.
Right.
But what happens to your emotion?
then it gets
I'm
higher.
actually pushing it up and up and up until finally I'm, pardon the use of the term, but I'm the aversive one now. Now I'm the thing that she's going to react to. Is it right? Isn't? What? I was just supporting you, and now you're attacking me. Now what am I going to do? I've got myself revved up too. I'm going to attack back. It's all over. Okay. Yeah. so
Now
go-
we're fighting.
Now we're
Now
fighting,
you and I
right.
are fighting. So You
Right.
can't call my sister that. You know, why? You don't know what she's going through. She's got a bunch of shit going on too. Sorry, my language too.
Right. Thank you for swearing. I appreciate that. Okay. Now, thank you. That was great. No, that was great. So, I don't know what you think of this, Karen, but for me, this is exactly, I think, what happens when you jump in a way that's, I think it's false validation, okay? What I'm doing is I'm agreeing with her judgments about her sister, okay? As opposed to simply trying to understand her experience of it without the judgments, by the way, are not reality. Judgments are spins that we put on reality. They're concepts. They aren't true, okay? We'll talk more about this later. I don't know, would you agree that, and so if you jump in with straight agreement when somebody's being judgmental and critical of another person, actually instead of having a soothing effect, it actually has a paradoxical effect, I think. Would you agree?
I think so, and I think there's maybe a tendency for it to encourage that kind of roller coaster thing about, oh, I hate you. Okay, now I don't hate you. Okay, I hate you. You know,
Right.
I think it kind of encourages that.
Right. And think about the relationship that emotion has with thinking straight. If I push her emotion up, she gets more and more binary, more black and white in her thinking. Things become good and bad, right and wrong. She already started out thinking that the sister was a jerk, and now I'm hopping on there. But all of a sudden, I'm not helping her feel better. Actually, she's now feeling worse, and now, boom, black and white on me. Now I'm the one that's making her feel worse. And it's, and then of course then she feels even more lonely. Now, I didn't pay her to do this, but this is a great example of how easy it is to invalidate somebody else when the other person isn't clear or accurate about what he or she is feeling or thinking or wanting, okay? When it's not accurate expression, okay? So, I mean, let's be clear about this. Some things it's very easy to validate, right? If you go to a restaurant, you know, Karen and I go to a restaurant, and her dinner is really not very good. It took a long time, service isn't good. It's just not well done. It's not, you know, it's just not good. And mine isn't good either. And she says, you know, I don't know, what do you say at this point?
You know, I am then really disappointed. Everybody said this restaurant was so good.
Yeah, me too. I agree. Right? Now it's agreeing, but I get her experience, right? So it's like, yeah, really, I mean, it's easy to make eye contact and say, yeah, me too, right? You're going to see it's very easy because we're having the same experience. Okay? What if I have it in the back of my mind that I'm making this up, okay? This is not true, but if I have it in the back of my mind that sometimes we go to restaurants and Karen's just a little pickier than I am, okay?
Might be
I haven't had that experience, but let's imagine that we have had that experience, and then and what do you say? How's your dinner, honey?
You know, look, I don't get to eat that much anyway. You know, so I want my food to be good when I have this food, and I'm starving. And look, the potatoes, I don't think they're real potatoes. I think they might be those flaky things you add water to. Really, they taste about like
Karen,
that.
For $21.95, they're probably real potatoes, sweetie.
I beg your pardon. You know, if I came here and I ordered food and they need to tell me.
Here, you know, mine is great. Here, do you want to try this? Do you want to trade?
No, I don't want to trade. I want what I ordered and I want it to taste right.
I think you're making kind of a big deal out of this.
You get to eat whatever you want. You get to
I
no.
offered to switch with you.
This is my
We're
food.
in public. We're in public.
Who cares?
You're embarrassing me.
You're embarrassing you. You're embarrassing me.
Yourself.
You don't give a damn about me.
You make a great old married couple, don't you think? I think so. That was good. but only because it's not real. If this were real, that would be anything but good, right? I mean, this would be a disaster. Can you imagine being around us for the next 24 hours?
Did you notice he started rubbing me? It's okay, Karen.
Yeah, okay. Now, there's a transaction going on, right? She's getting revved up. At some point, her upsettedness is making me upset. I'm embarrassed or something. And then, of course, when I'm dysregulated, I'm only paying attention to my own emotion. I can't pay attention to her experience anymore. Whereas if I can bring my attention back to her experience, it's like, wow, you know, I can tell that you really don't like the dinner. Is that true? It doesn't matter whether she's picky or not. She doesn't like the dinner. So then it's like, okay, I feel bad that it's terrible. Do you want to just leave and go someplace else? Because I mean, you know, I don't know. It doesn't seem great if you. Whether they're real or fake, it doesn't matter. If you don't like them, you don't like them. And if they taste like flakes to you, then it's flaky. Let's go.
You know, I really do. I want to get something I like.
All right. Well, do you want to order something different, or do you want to just, like, I haven't started. We can just pay for it and go, or not pay for it and go.
Yeah, I'm kind of through with these people. I don't want to give them another chance. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go and not come back.
Cool. Thanks.
That's hard. I'm really hungry. This is hard to do, you know. But if it's right, but I'm gonna get right. If she's the picky one, by the way, okay? Are we in this boat together? Am I going to enjoy my dinner if she's not enjoying hers? No, right? So I got to kind of get that in my head, and then I'm going to have a good dinner wherever we go. I might grab a little bite on the way out the door to keep me going for the next 45 minutes till we find another place or get a pizza.
The bank account, in my mind, for him, just went way up. You know, so I am going to be able to tolerate and be more validating to you.
Oh, totally. Yeah, what goes around comes around. But I'm not cynically thinking about that.
No.
I'm actually thinking that this is not fun for you. And if I want to, I could think, therefore, it's not fun for me. That could be my motivation. That's not bad. We're in the same boat, right? So I don't want to drown. I don't want her to drown. It doesn't matter which one of us don't want to drown. If I recognize we're together, then we're not going to drown. And that's very helpful, not getting sort of stuck on, I taste them, I'm sure they're not like potato buds, they're like real, but it doesn't, you see, that might be true, I might be right, we could actually go into the kitchen and see the potatoes, but they're, but all that's doing is invalidating her experience, which she doesn't like them. Okay.
And that brings up the thing that in relationships so often we focus on who's right. And
self-righteousness feels so good, doesn't it?
I was right, and I can't give in because I'm right. But what that does then is he's in another boat.
Somebody's wrong.
Yeah.
Anybody love being wrong? Yeah.
I think that's very nice. The problem is if somebody has a history
Mm-hmm.
of feeling controlled by a family member's behavior,
Right.
you have a history of X number of years
Right.
having to leave restaurants because the other person is picky,
Right.
your arousal is going to go up.
Correct.
And you're not going to want to say, fine, honey,
Right.
okay, we can go.
Right. That's the let's up this times 100, right? So in that situation, of course, this moment can't just unfold naturally. We have to do some problem solving before we go out. We have to have figured out an agreement. If she's unhappy, that we have a routine that we go through, that we've agreed to. Like she gets to order another meal here and try again. Okay? Or if it's the second restaurant of the evening, she can leave, but I'm going to stay and enjoy my dinner. Okay? No, but seriously, we have. I just want to be clear. I don't know anybody who could manage that in the moment, the 50th time. Okay, so don't wait till 50. By the third time, we got to start problem solving. And just now, the question is, can I say to Karen, okay, so now, do you want to make me into the one that's sort of more extreme? Because you keep being in the extreme, and I don't want you to like pigeonhole
I
you.
kind of
that
like
way.
being extreme.
All right, go for it. So we've done this a couple times lately, last couple months, where she's been very unhappy with the food, and the food's fine for me, okay? Now, I just want to point out, if you're sitting out there, you might be thinking she's too sensitive, okay? And I want to push you not to think that way. I want you just to simply notice she's got different standards, and maybe I'm just like a pig at the trough, I don't care. I got no standards at all.
I may have more taste buds, more hot.
You might have more taste buds. You might have had a wider range of food, and you could do put a color palette in front of me. I see red. I see green. I don't see emerald. I don't know what emerald looks like really. It's green, right? I don't see the difference. But the difference between extra salt, double extra salt, no salt, I'm happy. There's just the right amount of salt. 2 more grains, it's too much. 2 fewer, it's not enough. She can add a little more, but she can't take it away. So, right? So I just want to be careful to notice that there's no right or wrong on this, okay? So we've been through this a couple of times, okay? So now I might want to just notice, without any judgment, I might say, it's pretty clear that we have such different experiences when we go to the restaurant, and I think we need to figure out a way. You're the more sensitive one here. We got to figure out restaurants that you like.
You're saying it's my fault, right? I mean, I can't help it if I don't like the food.
No, I completely agree. I completely agree that you can't help it. I'm actually trying to notice that and say, because of that, I think you're the one that has to decide on the restaurant. Because I'm just not as sensitive about it. That's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just that it's different. It's kind of like, how, like when we watch a movie, right? We stream something from Netflix. I'm a little more deaf than you are.
Well, that's true.
Right? But it's not my fault, right? I'm just, so we have to turn it up a little more than you would probably listen to it, because otherwise I can't catch the dialogue, right? This is true at my house, by the way.
Well, I don't know where I want to go. I just
Okay. Well, let's figure, but let's put more effort into thinking about that. Maybe getting some recommendations, maybe looking at the menu online before we go or something, so that we have a better chance. Because if you're happy with the food, I'm almost certainly going to be happy with the food.
okay.
Because I'm not as picky. That's not a bad thing. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, yeah, keep going. I think you're going to have to come up here with the microphone. I am not. See, what I want to point out is that Karen is also, in our relationship, is regulatable. Okay? Okay, I just made up that word. I don't think there was such a word. Okay? In other words, the combination of our problem solving, my validation, and whatever she's doing internally is enough to get her emotion down enough that she can think and problem solve. Okay? That's not true for everybody. Okay? Some people, you know, it could be that Karen, it's not enough for me to do that. That Karen might stay mad at me because I used the wrong word. I said that she was pickier than I am. And I didn't mean that in a bad way, but you know, I intentionally used that word because, and it did, you responded exactly as I expect many, many people would, like, well, so it's my fault. Right? But that's actually not what I meant. But I get how that it could be responsible. So I could do a repair. I could be clear, and Karen was not so dysregulated she couldn't receive the repair. Okay? But that's not true for everybody. Once I use the word picky, that could be the end of the night. Okay? I just want to be clear, that could be the end of the night. Okay? So, and I think that you're nodding. So I want to just say, this doesn't always work. And you know, I mean, it doesn't always work out this way. However, if then tomorrow, even if it's gone for the night, tomorrow, okay, if I can come back and say, you know, we had quite a to-do around my use of the word picky. And now let's say I was being just a little bit caustic with my use of the word. Then I got to own it, right? I got to say, you know, you're right. I think I was being a little critical when I said picky. And I'm sorry about that. Because when I think about it, it's like, you know, you get to like what you like. And I want you to actually, when we go out to dinner, I want you to enjoy the dinner. I really do. I want to enjoy the dinner too. So sorry about the word picky, but I don't know what other word to use. You're just, you know, I don't mean this in a bad way. You are more picky about it than I am. That's just true.
You do this a lot, though. I mean,
but it's like the toothpaste. I'm pickier about the toothpaste than you are, right? You don't care what toothpaste we use. You couldn't care less. But you know, it's got to be this one. You know, I don't know what kind of. So, right? So, but I don't think that, you know. You look like I'm going to attack you, but I'm really not. I'm really trying not to.
Oh, yeah, I can't.
I'm really trying not to. I'm trying not to. I'm trying. Come on, I'm trying. Try to resist me now, you know?
But you know, you always do this, though. You know, it's all, you know, we go out. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you know, it's going to be another
you know
evening
Karen,
ruined because
Karen,
she's not going to
honestly, you suck at knowing what I think.
No, I don't. Because
you do.
you tell me every time we go out, you tell me, oh, you know, I can see it in your face.
What am I thinking? What am I thinking now?
Well, you sit there and look at it and say, you think there's anything you can eat here? You know, and I know that you're thinking that I'm not going to like the food and we're going to have to move. That's what you're thinking. And you're thinking, I'm sick of this.
All right, take it back. You don't suck at knowing what I think. That is what I'm thinking. Right, but isn't that true? I don't mind it, though. I mean, I'd rather find some place that we both like. That's what I'd really like.
How about you roll your eyes and you
Okay.
say, I'm starving. And you think,
that's not easy when I do that. That's why I would like us to find some place that you like so that, you know, it's easier for both of us. Of course, yeah, you're right. That's not those aren't my finest moments. Those probably hurt your feelings. I get it.
yeah, I mean, I just always feel like I'm the problem. And, you know,
Yeah.
I can't have what I want.
The problem is finding a place that we both like. That's the problem. Let's work on that. Because that would be really great. Then we can enjoy each other.
Okay, just a second. Okay, I want to be regulated now. Can I? Or do you want me to keep going?
I do want to come up if I can.
We have to ask her if she'll be videotaped.
Is it okay if you're on video? Do you mind being on video? That's okay. That's okay because I think they're going to video the role plays. Okay, we need a coach. You might have to coach one of us. All right. Go ahead. Have a seat. You can stand. I'm going to sit down. This is too hard. Okay, so this is Wendy.
Yes, hi.
Thank you for coming up here.
Yes,
That's bold and courageous.
Okay. And
You got to use the microphone. That you
Oh,
have to do,
sorry.
though.
Okay.
You can take it out of here if you want to.
okay. Thanks.
Oh, just pull it up. There you go.
Okay. Well, I'm hot, and
Did we just have, where are we? Are we in the restaurant or are we home the next day?
we're just here.
Okay.
So this is not a marital thing. This is like a parental thing.
Okay, so you're
Can we
you're
use
going to be
it?
my daughter?
No, you're going to be my daughter.
Do you want
Can I-
me to be the daughter?
can I
No,
borrow-
I want him to be
You
the
want him
daughter.
to be the daughter?
Can I borrow your necklace? I'm kidding. I'm just not feeling very feminine.
I want
at the
you to
moment.
be
All right.
my 16-year-old
Do
daughter.
you want me to be pissy?
No, just, well, I'll tell you.
All right.
I want you to be my 16-year-old daughter
Yeah.
who I've been a single parent of for 7 years
Yeah.
and who's given me a shitload of grief.
Okay. Can I have
And-
my earbuds back?
Do you want them?
Yeah.
And
please.
it's not a neutral situation of
Okay.
a restaurant. It's a situation that, as a parent, I feel she is injuring herself by her behavior.
What's my behavior?
Going into tirades,
Okay, so I kind of lose it.
you lose it a lot.
Okay.
And you do not see your part in it. You
Right.
feel like a victim.
Okay.
And my part of historically of enabling you is validating your experience, and more than that, trying to protect you and
Sure.
smooth the way for you.
Okay.
And I'm sick to death of it.
Sure. So
And
I don't know why she wants to be herself. Why wouldn't she want to be the daughter?
Yeah.
no, because I'm feeling it as myself. We had a big fight last night. And no, really.
Okay.
And I want to be helpful. I want to do the right thing.
Okay.
And I don't know what the right thing
All
is.
right. So this is great. So you be you, and Karen's going to coach you and get you to try to do
Okay.
something different.
Okay.
I'm not sure I can do the teenage daughter thing, but I'm going to try. I have 4 children, so I've got something to base this on.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Because I really want to do the right thing. And I really don't know what it is.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start. What am I doing? Am I being pissy?
No.
Please help, by the way.
Your sorry.
Who's initiating? Me? Am I complaining and doing something difficult, or are you initiating, wanting something from me?
I'm initiating. You have ADHD. I have just found out that you've been lying to me about taking your medication.
Okay.
And I am worried.
Don't tell me this, because I'm not interested in your worries.
No, she wouldn't say that.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying, don't tell me
you're
about
not
it. I don't need to know this before we start.
Really?
Let's just do
a
the.
lot.
That's not. No. I'm simply saying, don't give me so much information. You just go
All right.
ahead and do
Okay.
it, and I'll
Okay.
react. I'll be her as best I can.
Okay.
What do you want to get out of this so I can?
Okay. I want to know how when she's going to be defensive and then she's going to go into a thing about how unhappy she is. And I don't realize how unhappy she is. And then I'm going to
I can't hear them either.
I know you're unhappy.
Sounds
But
good
you
though.
have to do this. This is for your own good. And you can get something out of this.
Okay. So what I want you to do is leave off
Nope.
the second part.
They're not letting us in.
No, leave off that second part for a while.
Which part?
You have to do it anyway. Leave that off for a little while. Okay. Just say, "Yeah, I really get that you're unhappy." Just validate the feelings till we can get somewhere. Okay.
Okay.
Because you can't problem solve until you get the feelings down.
Anybody have a smartphone I can borrow? I only have a dumb phone. I'm going to be texting. I won't really use it. And I won't throw it, I promise. Okay. I might pretend to throw it, but I won't actually let go of it.
Okay. You ready? Sarah, No, she wouldn't do that. Sarah, come on, I want to talk to you about this.
Just hang on, I'm texting.
Sarah, knock it off.
Okay, let's coach. Okay, so say, oh, I can see you're busy right now. I'll wait just a few minutes.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Remember, we're getting in the same boat.
So what do I do about my dysregulation?
Okay, so you know.
This is, I just want to
And
point
this
out
is real.
that this is
Yeah.
working
That is
very
real.
well for me because I can ignore her and I get to keep doing what I'm doing, and it's working pretty well. So I'm going to just keep at this. This is
Okay,
good.
so she asked, what is she supposed to do about her own emotions? You know, and the first thing is to be aware. You know, just aware of those urges that are coming up in you. You know, what is it that is happening inside of you? What you're saying. You know, and then to sort of accept those emotions. You know, label them and accept them, and then we have to get yours down a little bit. You know, when you say yes, it's reasonable that I would feel frustrated.
I'm
Self-validation.
furious
Furious. It's reasonable that I would feel furious. It's reasonable.
because she lied to me.
Because she lies.
And I'm busting my butt to help her.
And
she's not doing her part, and I am furious.
I need skills. I'm like Napoleon Dynamite. I
Could
need
you be
skills.
quiet? I'm sick of your feelings, okay? I am sick of your feelings.
No offense, that might be part of the problem.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, so what we.
So
okay,
am
so
I.
the
I'm sick
the
of my
first
feelings,
thing
too.
is that we have to validate your own feelings and get your emotions down. Okay, because your pain is on your face.
Mm-hmm.
And your sadness is in your eyes, and your fear. I don't know what that fear might be about, but there's.
What's going to happen to her?
Yeah, there you go. And so, I think that like what we want to do is we want to validate the primary emotion. And so the primary emotion is fear or sadness. Yeah. And then it comes out as anger, because it's easier to be angry.
And I'm tired.
And you're
of
tired.
this
And you're tired.
because I've been afraid and worried about her for years.
And when will it ever end? And what will the outcome be? And when will you ever have your own life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're kind of validating you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that when you go into an interaction, that's part of this process, is to validate you and your own feelings. So I'm going to move kind of fast here, which we might not do in another situation. So what you want for your daughters, you want to have a better relationship, you want to be on the same side.
We're pretty much on the same side. I want her to do what she needs to do to be successful and to be happy.
Is it okay if I use that as a teaching point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would imagine that everyone here today has someone in your life that you love and that you want the very best for. I know my mom did. And what happens sometimes is when we love someone so much and we can kind of see where things are going for them and we get scared, we start to invalidate as a way of trying to change their life because we want them to be different. We want a different outcome. And we want to help them be successful, and we want to have them have a great life. And so it comes out of love and fear that it's not going to happen for them. And that sometimes results in trying to sort of control someone or push them in a way that backfires. Mm-hmm. So all your love for your daughter, all your fear, okay, what I want you to do is right now, just think about this moment and I want you to say, look, I want to connect with her in this moment. You know? And not think about she's going to drop out of college, she's never going to get a job, she's going to fail high school, she's going to end up on the streets with no way to support herself. Okay? Think about this moment and really look at your daughter and try to connect with her. just this moment. This is not her whole future. And you won't solve it in this moment. Okay? Just connect in this moment. Okay? And do it your way. Okay?
Sarah, I'm bummed. Sarah, I'm bummed.
Just a minute. What? What's going on? What's the matter?
I'm really
Okay.
bummed.
Hold on just a second. What happened? She engaged and she interrupted the pattern. Remember?
Accurate expression.
Yes.
Accurate expression.
And she interrupted the pattern. At least I think the pattern has been that you come in and sort of
Badger.
yeah, and nag, and you gave accurate expression, and you engaged in a different way. Okay.
I just realized that
Did Grandma die or something?
no, I realized you haven't been telling me the truth.
Oh, what?
About taking your medicine.
Okay, what am I feeling? But less fear, because she's accurate, okay? She's kind of coming at me. The fear is going to be bigger than the shame, and then I can get defensive, okay? But I'm feeling now more ashamed.
So
Yeah, that's right.
When people feel shame, they pull away and they withdraw. So what we need to do is give her a way to come back. You know? And it might be something like, you know, I don't know what it's like to take medication. I really want to understand. Can you help me understand?
So I have to get out of my own experience.
Yes. Yes. You're so good. You're so honest.
This is really hard. It's really hard, but
It is very hard.
we can't expect the child to do that. Right. And I wasn't kidding when I said, if I'm going to be the teen, I need skills. And the person who's best equipped to help me with those skills is you, which puts an enormous burden on you, and it's possible. You don't have to be perfect here. You don't there's no such thing. Just don't forget, no attack, no withdraw. If you can stay in the middle, we can make a really wide middle, okay? It's not like walking down like a narrow line. There's a lot of room. Just not fall into the ditch of attacking, not falling into the ditch of withdrawal. And you don't have to do it all now. We can do this in pieces. If one of us gets dysregulated, we can come back to it. Don't forget, you don't have to do it all in one sitting or one standing. Okay, so I'm embarrassed, and I'm a little bit afraid because I've been attacked for this sort of thing before, but I'm not getting attacked right now, so my brain's a little confused. That's a healthy confusion, okay? But I'm embarrassed, kind of withdrawing a little bit.
Okay, look.
Yeah, okay. So I did.
I went to this workshop and they told me, try to get out of your own experience and try to get with what you might be feeling. And so I'm going to try, honey, because I love you.
Okay, so that was beautiful because I don't know if her daughter.
I can't miss that. I can't miss it.
Yeah, that dissipates the fight. That puts you in the same boat. And for people that are emotionally sensitive, they have kind of a rejection sensitivity. He's feeling shame. He's probably going to feel rejected.
I'm right on the edge deciding whether to like be defensive and attack or just leave the room. And when you said that, I couldn't do either one. I'm here. You got my attention. I really disappointed you, huh?
Yeah.
The meds are awful.
I know they are. And I hate that you have to take them.
don't want to take them. They make me feel awful,
Yeah,
like I'm not myself.
I know. And I wish to hell they would come up with a medication that wouldn't make kids feel that way, because you're not the only one that feels that way. But honey, you're stuck with this. It's not your fault, but you're stuck with this. And I can't take it away from you. I wish I could.
There's got to be some other way besides feeling like I'm not in my own body.
So, okay, so what you did was you normalized it. You said you're not the only one to feel this way, but it's beautiful. You also said, I hate it. So you were really being on his side, her side. Now, we don't want to get polarized, because when you say, and you have to do it, that polarizes. You know, and she actually is suggesting here, is there another way? So now we need to, she's ready to problem solve. So whatever you can think of, we need to think of something to try to address her concerns and issues. And it's not black and white. Take the medicine, don't take the medicine. Can you think of other options, things you could do, even if it's to explore?
We've tried.
Everything?
Yeah.
Can we talk to the doctor again? Would you want to look at diets? Can we maybe look at a schedule? If you've done all of that, but maybe this time she might be in a different place and willing to be more helpful with that. The idea is that we need to find a way to get in the middle. And maybe you have a better way of getting in the middle than any of my ideas. But we don't want to shut the door and say you just have to do it.
There are some things you just have to do.
It may end up there, but right now in this discussion, okay, so sometimes I will spend an hour almost coming up with solutions for people, thinking of ideas, brainstorming. And what that does is it validates that I understand how important this is for them, and I am really trying to come up with a different way, and I may not come up with a different way at the end, but by that time, they're like, all right, you know? Because
It's the best among lousy alternatives sometimes.
But,
Yes.
but we have already done all that.
What I want you to do is forget the history and be in this moment.
It's really hard for me because it's not true. I mean, I've been in that moment with her.
It's not true for you. She's 16.
I mean, we.
You may have to be in this moment 35 times.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I don't make up the laws of physics or human nature, but you know, it's just,
But it's like.
it's all, no, I get it. No, it's like you have a backpack that's twice your own weight you got to carry around with you. Right. And sometimes that's what we've got. We got to build some wheels for it so we don't have to carry it, we can just pull it.
So what's
I
your
don't
emotion?
think I have it in me right now.
What's your emotion right now?
My emotion is that we had a horrible fight last night. When the alarm went off this morning, I so wanted to stay in bed and escape and not come, but I came because her therapist recommended it, and I came because I have to.
You know what? Sometimes it's not the right moment. And when you're drained and you don't have anything to give and you're tired, exhausted, that's not the right moment. You know, and so it may be that you need to go get a massage, or you need to go out with a girlfriend, or to do something to help take care of your emotional fatigue, you know, and then come back. And that's okay.
But in the meantime, she's failing Algebra 2. She's at a very competitive good public school.
Microphone.
In the meantime, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to go to a double movie.
Go. I guarantee you that if you go talk to her right now, she's not going to study algebra in the next 2 hours.
She's right. She's right.
So you go to the movie.
Algebra was not on my Saturday plan.
You okay? Okay, what can I do for you?
This is also hard. Can I just interrupt for a second? Because you're going all the way to the end of the day today, and it's 20 to 12. We've got a lot of things to cover between here and there. You're going for the graduate course, and we're working on the high school diploma this morning. So we might want to just let you go for now, and we're going to go through stuff. What Karen's saying, I 100% agree with. This is both an impossible situation in the moment, and by accepting it may be impossible in the moment, may create the possibility of movement later. Sometimes it's useful to have a metaphor in your head. I like metaphors. They make sense. I don't know about you, but I don't think in words. I think in images and stuff, And so, if you think about like the Arctic ice, which there's apparently less of, but nevertheless, or you don't have ice in Texas. Why am I using a frozen lake metaphor? You can understand it anyway. At 12 degrees below zero, you've got a frozen lake. At 31 degrees Fahrenheit, you have a frozen lake. Which one is closer to breaking up? Right. Can you go play hockey on either one? Absolutely. It's still frozen. Okay? It's just as frozen. Okay? But one more degree, 1.1 more degrees, and it will break up. Okay? So going along like this is like raising the temperature 1 degree at a time, 1 degree at a time. Okay? And it may be that's why I said 35 times. 35 times from now, it hits the tipping point and it becomes 33 degrees and it breaks up. There's still chunks of ice. It's still cold, but it breaks up and movement becomes possible. Now, I'm not Pollyanna. I'm not saying that's always true, but also I have to say, what choice do we have? We can also give up. That's the other choice. If we love somebody, I would never encourage somebody to give up. In this moment, it's not giving up. It's choosing to move on it again later when we're better equipped for it. Okay, and everybody's had that experience. You get, you're whether it's school, you're working on schoolwork and you just can't learn anything anymore, so you go to sleep, and then you get up and work again tomorrow. Or it's a job project. You're painting your living room, and now every time you start to paint something, you're slopping more on the floor. You got to give up now. It doesn't mean you're not going to finish painting tomorrow. And just something to that. Thank you for your phone.
What a wonderful help she was.
Yeah, thank you. And in all seriousness, I'd be very happy to come back to this later after we've gone through a few more steps. Okay, so I want to point out that it's very easy to invalidate when the other person's expression is not accurate. Okay? Simple example. Okay? Your teenager is supposed to be home at midnight. Anybody have kids? Okay. If you don't have kids, you've met one. You've been one. Okay. So, teenager is supposed to be home at midnight, and it's 1:15. Okay. But now it's 12:15, and your teenager's not home. How do you feel? Let's assume that kid just turned a certain age and has not been chronically out late. So. Yeah, 5 minutes late, but 15 minutes late has never happened before, even 15 minutes at midnight. So the kid's usually home. You say midnight, the kid's home by midnight. Now it's 12:15. How do you feel? Worried. So what do? Right, you do the problem-solving thing, right? You say, right, because the treatment for fear is make it safe, right, when the fear is legitimate. So you try to see if it's safe, see if my fear is justified. So you call, but of course the voicemail picks up automatically, which either means that your teenager has turned off his or her phone, or is lying dead in a ditch somewhere and the phone's broken. Okay. Yeah, but that goes with turning the phone off. But you know. Yeah. Exactly. No pocket dialing while you're drunk. Right. Okay. So at 12:30, you try again. Nothing. So now at 1:15, you hear the key go in the door. Okay. The door opens and there's the kid. Okay. No blood. All the limbs intact. Okay. What do you say? All right. Now let's be honest. Okay.
No.
Is it, honey? Okay, here's the accurate expression. Honey, I should really start with the invalidated. Now let's start with the bet. This is of course, I would expect no one to do this, okay, including myself. But if we were going to be really validating and accurate in our expression, it would be, oh, I'm so glad to see you. I was worried, you know, because it is 1:15. What's kept you? What made you so late? I'm so glad you're okay.
I ran out of gas.
You ran out of gas.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I would have been happy to come and bring you some gas or bring you to the gas station if you'd called.
Oh, yeah, my phone was dead.
Okay. Well, let's get some sleep. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe next time we'll work on like checking the gas meter before you go out. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Dad.
Now, some of those people are thinking you're not telling the truth. But you are, right? There's two possibilities, right? One is she is, and one is she isn't. Okay?
Well,
Is this a truthful one or not a truthful one?
maybe. Well, all right. So I ran into a friend and I lost track of time, but I didn't think you would buy that. So I wanted to give you something that you wouldn't get mad and all go crazy on me.
You know, well, am I going crazy on you?
No. Are you okay?
I'm really I'm tired.
You went to that workshop, didn't you?
Guilty. Well, I'm really glad that you told me the truth. I really am glad you told me the truth.
How long will this last?
Well, I still think it's time for us to go to bed, actually.
Okay.
We can talk more about it in the morning.
All right. What do you mean by that?
Well, I want you to either be home on time or to hear from you, so I don't worry about
See, here it comes. Here it comes.
That was the
I just lost track of time. That's
Right.
all.
I get that. I was a teenager once.
Yeah.
Do you think I never lost track of the time?
Well, if you did, you forgot. You don't remember any of that stuff. You don't seem to remember being a teenager.
I have a little touch of Alzheimer's, but I know I've done it. Okay? I have done it. I get it.
Well, then it looks like you'd understand and not get on my case.
Well, I can understand and want to know. Want to work on it. Can we work on it?
Work on it, work on it, work on it.
Well, it's not like heavy lifting, but it is like maybe trying to remember to call me if you're going to be late.
Do you have any idea what it's like to have a shrink for a dad? I mean, it's just like...
I've been told. My 11-year-old says to his older sister, "Don't try. You know, they're both psychologists." It's true. My wife is also. And it's not so easy for them, but they manage okay. Yeah.
So we just talk.
Sweetie, let's go to bed. We'll figure it out in the morning. This is not awful. It's just something to figure out.
All right.
All right?
Okay, so the key, what do you think the key was? It's not awful. See, I can't gauge whether he's going to be furious in the morning or not, so that keeps me in threat mode. And so even when he says he loves me, we'll talk about it in the morning.
Still pushes it up, right?
Still pushes it up. So I'm just uncertain. I mean, and so that threat comes up, and I'm going to try to defend myself. But when you said it's not awful,
Right.
then I can relax. The threat goes away.
Right. Or she walks in the door, and it's, where the hell have you been?
Look,
Honestly, anybody here do that? Yeah. 3 honest people, yeah. Where the hell have you been?
out.
Do you know what time it is? Do you know what your curfew time is?
It's
You
just
don't,
a few
because
minutes.
it just changed.
It's a few minutes past. There you go. You're always trying to control my life. You don't even. I haven't.
Don't start it to me.
Nobody else's parents are like
It's
you.
1:15,
It's like
bloody in the morning.
All my friends get to stay out until 2. What do you think that makes me feel like when you're like this old fashioned? So you don't care. You don't care if I have no friends.
See,
You don't
it's
care if I have
really
any
hard.
life.
When I say, where the hell have you been? It's very hard for her to say, oh, I love you too. It's very hard to get that,
Yep.
right?
No, don't
But of
get
course, way back, what was I doing at 5 minutes past 12? 10 minutes past 12? I was worrying. Why was I worried? Because I love her, right? Now, that's the accurate expression, okay? And even with the accurate expression, it still took a few runs at it to make this okay so that we could both go to bed and have a decent night's sleep. Without the accurate expression, now I'm not asking her to validate me, because we don't, seriously, part of the message here is we don't expect the kid to validate the parent. That's not part of the program. Sorry. Don't say it's not fair. That's not true. Fairness is a judgment. It's just the way it is, okay? So, but if I'm not accurate, if I come at it like, where the hell have you been? I'm leading with anger. I'm leading with judgment. And of course, I mean, we all agreed, right? We love somebody being pissed off at us. That's like that's the second most fun thing, right? After being ashamed of ourselves, right? What a great weekend this is turning out to be, isn't it? So anyway, right, and I can't imagine that even for a millisecond there was any hint of, as soon as you heard the tone in my voice, it's like, okay, put up the firewall, run away, it's fight or flight, right?
Yes, and it's like I need to. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm trying to talk over him,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that I don't want to hear what he has to say.
Oh yeah,
You know?
and I have no idea what she said.
And so, and then I'm going to get out of here as soon as I can. Probably
You bet.
slam a door, throw
Right,
something
wake
down.
up the rest of the household. And
Or
then I'll yell at you for that.
Or maybe leave. Go to a friend's house. Say, forget you.
The hell you will.
Watch me.
All right, so here's a small study we did. This is just, again, I think probably just stating the obvious. We looked at teens who were in the clinic for emotion dysregulation kinds of problems, okay? And we brought them into our lab, and we set them up in a couple of chairs, and we leave the room, and we turn the camera on, and let them have a conversation about how things are going in their family, and that's the whole thing. And then we found a bunch of kids of the same age who were not involved in any sort of mental health clinic, age-matched, brought in those kids and their parents and did the same thing. And then had somebody who doesn't know anything about the families actually rate how validating or invalidating the parent was. Okay, now, hang on, okay? So the yellow are the parents of clinic kids, and the blue is their matched comparison group, the parents of non-clinic kids. And as you can see, the parents of the non-clinic kids are both more validating and less invalidating than the parents of the clinic kids. And if you just look yellow, yellow, blue, blue, you see that the parents of the clinic kids are more invalidating than validating by quite a bit. And the parents of the non-clinic kids are flipped. They're more validating than invalidating by a long way. Okay, yeah? What's a clinic kid? That just means the kid is actually coming to a mental health clinic for emotion regulation problems. Could be substance abuse, could be self-harming. Those are the big ones. Those are the most common, or both. So they're kids with severe emotion dysregulation problems. Yeah. Most of these families, just one parent came in. Yeah. There were a few that both parents came in, but they show the same pattern. So, yeah, another question. Oh, yeah. Right. 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 Staying very focused. You're 2 steps ahead of us. You're staying very focused on what's going on right now. What is my goal now, as well as the long-term goal? Have a good relationship, be a decent parent, whatever that is. Now, I want to be careful. This is not to blame the parents in yellow, okay? Because the kids are also, if you watch these conversations, it doesn't matter whether the parent started the conversation or the child started the conversation. Both people, you could tell which were the clinic kids. If the kid started the conversation, it looked different too, okay? So for example, so Karen could be my teenager, just be an ordinary teenager, okay, and we're left with the task of talking about our relationship. We have not discussed this at all. But if you're just an ordinary teenager, not in the clinic, and I say, well, I guess we're supposed to talk about our relationship. What do you think?
What do you want to talk about?
That's exactly what normal teenagers do. They don't start disclosing anything. Or they say, it's fine. Meh.
It's okay.
Meh. Right? M-E-H. Meh. That's, okay, right? So what happens is it starts out that way, and then a very validating parent will get smaller, not be irritated by the meh. The very validating parent will say, well, what about maybe pick something, a friend, a specific friend, or a class, okay? And ask about that. Like, well, what about Susan? I know you were kind of fighting with her the other day. How's that?
It's okay.
Is it better? Because, you've been friends forever.
Oh, yeah, we're all right now.
You're okay?
We're
Well,
all right.
I'm glad to hear that. That's good. Because it seemed like that was bothering you for a couple days, but maybe not anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
Notice there's a little bit of sticking with it. I'm not telling her, I'm not minimizing, I believe her. I'm not believing her, but I'm hanging with the subject in a validating way, giving her more room. If there's something there, she can tell me about it. And if not, we've connected a little bit, and there may be something else that we could talk about.
yeah, it was kind of rough for a while. It bothered me.
Yeah.
I don't like, she's a person I talk to,
Yeah, she's been one of your best friends for years.
But it's okay now.
Well, good. I'm glad, because I know, at least for me, when things aren't good with your best friends, it kind of, I don't know, kind of trickles into everything. It just feels crappy.
Yeah, kind of did.
Yeah.
Kind of like, just, ugh, yuck, blah,
Yeah. Yeah. So how about just around the house? Like, how about with me? How are things going with me?
Oh, you're all right.
All right. It's probably the best I can do.
I mean, you're all right. You're all right.
Anything that I could be doing better, different? I know I'm constantly pushing you on the college application stuff
Yeah.
to the point of irritation, I know.
Well, I know, look, I know you're worried about that, but I'm going to get it done, Dad. I'm going to get it done.
Yeah, I need to remember that.
I
Because you
will.
always do get it done
I
eventually.
do. You got to trust me a little more,
Yeah, good point.
I'm 16.
I was just having this conversation the other day. Yeah. Okay. Now, see, this is just, it's still not, this is fine. This is a pretty good conversation, okay? Now, if you're a clinic kid, okay, it starts out exactly the same thing, so, well, how's it going? How's it going? What do you want to talk about?
Everything's okay. Yeah.
You going to do this here?
Do what?
Just kind of shut down and not be willing, they want us to talk about how things are going.
I don't have anything to say. What do you want me to say?
She's going to get an eye roll now. And a deep sigh.
Here we go.
And it's all over. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. The eye rolls are wonderful things if you want to push somebody away or you want to put their red button on. So anyway, the point is that she's already more stubborn if she's a clinic kid, but we also have a history, okay? And then I move more quickly to invalidating something that's at least a little tiny bit valid, maybe also invalid. All right, so I think we have to stop in 2 minutes.
I want to point out one
Oh,
thing.
yeah, please,
I
go
wanna-
right ahead.
It's such a
Yes,
good
she
point.
does. She wants to. You may not let her, but she still wants to.
All right, I'll deal with my feelings. They want to hear it.
Jim, this is a democracy.
I just want to underline and put exclamation marks around something that he did. When I did say a little bit about my friend, he didn't start asking for facts. He stuck with the emotions. If he had started asking me, I was waiting for that. What happened? What did she say while you were away? And he didn't do that.
Yeah, what were you fighting about?
I would have shut down. Yeah, I would have shut down.
Not going to get that information.
And that's part of validation. You stay with validating what is going on with the other person, not asking for facts about the specific situation.
Right. Okay.
Thank
You're up,
you.
Jim. Thank you for that 30 seconds.
You guys are great. You guys are great. Lunch is coming, but not quite yet, because we
We were supposed to start.
we actually have the
at
privilege
11:45.
of welcoming someone to this to the conference that I became aware of at a NAMI convention in San Antonio, the national convention. I guess that was last July, and I was talking to a lady who is president of a NAMI affiliate up near the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and she said, "Gee whiz, have you heard about this extraordinary man who is a congressman from Houston who's actually been bringing about more and more legislation to help people with mental illnesses?" And I gave it the big duh. No, I really haven't. And so she told me about this person that who happens to be from District 147. I'll get that straight. He was first elected in 1991. Yeah, he the kinds of things he's done, and recognize that I get involved in the mental health field a lot, but I could only hope that other representatives, elected representatives, pay the kind of attention to the needs of people with mental health challenges and their families. He's put in fact, what really attracted my attention when she was speaking, this lady was speaking to me, is she said, "Do you know, I think that's the first time ever that I've seen personality disorders mentioned in legislation." I said, "Who is this guy? This is amazing." So anyways, we bring you Representative Garnett Coleman. He's a senior member of the Public Health Committee. He's one of the original authors of Children's Health Insurance Program. We call it CHIP. And I think it's time to hear a little bit more from Representative Coleman.
Well, I think it's afternoon now, so good afternoon. I'm going to be brief because I know we have a panel during lunch, and I know what it's like to be between hunger and somebody speaking. But I think the best thing to do is kind of give a list of good things that happened in the session. This is one of those times when the list takes a long time to actually lay out, because this was probably one of the most dynamic and expansive sessions in 2013 on mental health that we've probably seen ever. And that's really important, because government action on healthcare has not been as good as it could have been. And we're in a time when most people, at least in the prevailing opinion of the people who run the state of Texas, is the government has no role in the health care of people. They broke their own rule and went out and actually spent your money to help people who you care about. So, and I was glad to be a part of that. So I'm going to go through some of the bills that were passed last session. If I didn't, well, my printer wouldn't work, and now I'm probably having as much trouble with, okay, good. I don't know how people use this stuff. It's an iPad. So first off, we have about $300 million in terms of substance abuse and mental health care put into the budget of the state of Texas. It's a lot of money. And it's a big increase, probably about $200 million increase. Second of all, how many of you all have heard of the 1115 transformation waiver? Okay, a couple. We did a waiver in 2011. We asked the federal government, could we use a portion of Medicaid funds called upper payment limit. Don't worry about it. It's just a block of funds that comes to the state. And could we use them to transform how we care for people, basically trying to keep people out of hospitals by providing outpatient therapy for anything. It could be diabetes, whatever else it is, but to reduce hospital stays. And so about 1/3 of the projects across the state involve mental health. And that's approximately $1 billion a year that you don't see in the state budget. And that's very significant because prior to that, so this started after 2011. So you add the 2013 money and you're talking about $1.3 billion or approximately $1.15 billion over each year moving forward. That is a lot of money. So the increase wasn't really $300 million. It was over 2 years. It was $2.3 billion. So when people say there's no money going in, it was going in through that 1115 waiver, and this creates projects that help us transform the way we treat individuals in all areas of healthcare, but specifically in mental health. So why was that important? It was important because the jails were becoming our mental health treatment facilities, and that wasn't appropriate. And since I chair county affairs, jails are in my purview because all 254 counties are in the purview. So the idea was to divert patients from jail stays to appropriate treatment in their community and solve that problem. We could have diverted folks from jail but had no money to treat them in community. So now we have the money, and I think that's important. I'm just going to tick through some bills so you know the authors of those bills that participated in this last session heavily in 2013. So there's House Bill 1191 by Representative Burkett and Senator Zaffarini that requires the Health and Human Services Commission to make information about public and private housing options available for people with mental illness. HB 3105 by Representative Morrison and Senator Dool strikes the provision in the law that allows insurers to refuse to accept a claim for a loss sustained as a consequence of intoxication or under the influence of certain drugs. HB 915 by Representative Colcourse and Senator Nelson seeks to ensure that strengthens the oversight of psychotropic medications, prescriptions for foster children to improve health outcomes. SB 44 by Senator Zaffarini and Representative Burkett requires the Department of Family and Protective Services to report the number of cases of children with serious emotional disturbance who are required to the state. And I could go, there's Senate Bill 50, Senate Bill 421, Senate Bill 426, Senate Bill 1185, Senate Bill 1189, House Bill 6. You get the point? I think I could scroll a couple of more pages of bills that, along with the dollars, changed to a more appropriate way of changed the state policy to a more appropriate way of dealing with people who have mental illness, and also strengthening the what we call we used to call it TIFI. It's called something else, Texas Integrated Funding Initiative, but intensive outpatient treatment for individuals who have clearly a challenge with their mental illness. What do we have left to do? Well, what we have left to do is, first of all, get the Medicaid expansion done. And people will say, well, why is that? I know there are a lot of people who are against the Affordable Care Act, but the truth of the matter is between 80 to 90% of people who are mentally ill would qualify for Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act if we had done the Medicaid expansion. And that's really important because the people that you know or you see that generally we think of them as the homeless or the people who barely get to work and get home or the people who have no jobs, they would be eligible for Medicaid. Medicaid does not cover people with mental illness unless they are deemed disabled. So that means most people with mental illness or substance abuse don't fall in the category of being covered by Medicaid. So I think that's an important, a very important part of what we have left to do. I think the last part that I'll talk about is the stigma. I think, quite frankly, stigma has increased since Sandy Hook. Even though legislators are spending their time and other elected officials changing policy, it is a reaction that is to the benefit of people like you and me who care about folks who have substance abuse and mental illness, but it's a reaction to that tragedy that doesn't involve doing something about guns. So that means that people have to look like they care and probably do care, but put a lot of money into mental health care, but do nothing about guns. I'm showing you my opinion on this. But you know, you take it where you can get it. Unfortunately, a bunch of children had to die for our state to take action. So what's left to do after that? Well, what's left to do is to make sure this money doesn't go away. Because when something is a reaction, once the need appears to have waned, then the money starts leaving the budget. So I would just say to you that if you want dollars to be appropriately used and continue to be used in the budget to care for your friends and family, then don't let this be a one-time deal and the money be pulled back. The reason I think stigma is probably increasing is because people think they're solving a problem that, quite frankly, increased dollars won't solve. What will solve it is if we recognize, or families and people in the community recognize that someone has a mental illness and gets them to the appropriate treatment as early and as young as possible. And that's why the bills that work to have staff and teachers in our ISDs identify children and get them to their parents so their parents can get them to appropriate help are probably going to be the better bills in the long run. And I passed a bill that was optional in 2011, and along with Senator Dewell and with the help of Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst and Speaker Strauss, we were able to pass a bill that made those kinds of, that diversion mandatory. So I think it was a very good session. We have a little ways to go. And we also have some issues with illnesses that have long-term treatment and the cost of that. So whether it be autism or borderline personality disorder, as we know, most insurance, even if you had it, doesn't pay for those things. So thank you very much for letting me talk.